Welcome back to Liberty in Finance. We're delighted to have a first-time guest. Dan Noone is the CEO of G2 Goldfields, Inc., which is here at the Rule Symposium on natural resource investing in Boca Raton, Florida. Dan, thanks for coming on Liberty in Finance.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I just have been finding out more about your company, and I can understand why Rick was attracted to your company from his past education of our audience, that he looks for people who are serially successful in management teams that have been proven performers. And it sounds like that's one way that this started out, and that the area that you're developing a mine resource has been proven out in the past, and that you're finding more resources there. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about, I understand the country where the mining operation that you're developing is in Guyana, and that may not be familiar to most of our viewers, but I had a good acquaintance from Guyana who educated me on this over a decade ago, that it's the only English-speaking country in South America and has really improving infrastructure and more and more business-friendly climate as the years go on. Can you expand on that so that our viewers understand where your assets are that you're developing?
Okay, so our assets are in British Guiana, and which was, when we first got there 30 years ago, it was the poorest country in the hemisphere. Over the last 10 years, ExxonMobil has discovered 10 billion barrels of oil, which has changed the economy incredibly. It is now, last year had the fastest growing GDP in the world at 47.5%. This year is predicted at 35%. It really is turning this country around. And so that has been good for us as the mining sector, because mining had traditionally paid most of the taxes in Guyana. Now, obviously, the oil pays most of the taxes, so it takes the pressure off us, but we also employ a lot of people. Oil doesn't do so much, so the government is still very friendly to mining down here, permitting-wise. There's been 3 modern mines built in the last 20 years down here. We built one in 2016 for Guiana Goldfields. So we have a history down here with building mines and discovering them. And so I suppose that's why Rick liked what he saw when we made our high-grade discovery at Oko and came into the stock. So we think the country is probably one of the best countries to invest in South America today.
Now, when we were speaking, you were explaining to me about why high-grade, in your viewpoint, lowers risk both for the company and for its investors. Can you clarify that for us?
Absolutely. The higher value your rock is, and at 9 grams, our resource has a dollar value of somewhere between $550 to $600 a tonne. It allows you to have large margins, but also one thing, it also allows you to build a smaller plant than if you had 1 gram a tonne. So basically, you lower your capex, you increase the rate of that you pay back your investment. So all of a sudden, you've reduced all that risk, which may have been out for 7 or 8 years, down to say 1.5 to 2 years, and you pay back rapidly. So for us, that takes a lot of the risk out of mining, because in mining, there's risks all over the place, which a lot of people don't recognise. And for us, having large margins and reducing the initial capex are 2 of the most important things which we learned from when we built the Aurora mine.
Another thing that we were talking about was the expansive potential of the deposit that you're looking at. And in fact, it sounds like just recently you've become aware of that it extends farther than you realized earlier. And through your exploration and your development work, you're increasing the size of the potential of that for the company and for its investors.
Absolutely. We have a land package here of 28,000 acres, and we started down on the southern border. Or near the southern end, because that's where there was a little active mine at the time. And so we made the Oko discovery, which our first resource was 1.2 million ounces at 9 grams. So from there, we've only drilled that down to 350 metres. But just to the south of that, we made another discovery at Gani, which similarly has high grade, but also some low grade to make it open pittable. And that's only over 2.3 kilometres of a strike length of 17 kilometres that we have here. So over 17 kilometres, there are historic mines along there and some small active ones as we speak. This area was discovered originally in 1870s, so it's been 150 years of mining. We were the first guys to drill at Oko, so it's a freak of nature. But so we've really discovered something which in the rest of the world was discovered back, say, in the early 1900s in Western Australia or in Canada, and we've walked onto this in Guyana, high grade at surface. and we've got a strike length of about 17 kilometres, and we've only explored 2.3 kilometres to date. So we're quite excited that we can continue to make discoveries, because it is discovery that really makes those quantum leaps in the valuation creation within the company.
So speaking of that, there's a timeliness associated with that revelation. Nature holds its secrets. You guys you're teasing the secrets out of Mother Nature, and then eventually you're going to let those be known to your investing public. And there's a timeline associated with that. And you've just recently made this additional discovery, and you're also, I understand, drilling deeper than ever before at your existing asset to prove out even a greater amount of resource there.
Absolutely. So we really have three things going on here. We have the initial resource, which as we drill, it's an iterative process, so we actually understand it better. So now we understand what the controls are on the bonanza grade. And when we talk about bonanza, we say plus an ounce. So we're targeting those plus an ounce zones within the OK main resource and targeting down to depth. So we think we understand that now, and we have a blueprint for that. So that's one leg. We've made the new discovery at Guiana, so we're just really drilling that out sufficiently to figure out the scale of that to start with. But we're also, along that 17-kilometre trend, targeting multiple other areas to make a real new discovery again. So there's lots of things moving on at the same time to release value.
For prospective investors who are considering starting to be part owners of Goldfields Inc., G2 Goldfields Inc., what kind of a timeline would you think that they should expect until you'll have more drill results to announce? Is that in later this year? Or?
Yeah, we're drilling away with 3 rigs at the moment. So 2 on the OK main zone, 1 at Guiana. We have another rig on site, which we will deploy as we generate targets along that trend. So we'll have news of drill results rather consistently for the rest of the 6 months of this year, quite easily. So we'd like to target every 6 weeks for news. We also want to update our resource. We put our initial resource out April last year. We've been drilling for 15 months since then. It's time to put another update out. It won't be the final resource. It'll just be the next one before the one after that. But we need to do that. So we're targeting the end of the 3rd quarter, start of 4th, to put out that resource, which should also be another catalyst to release value. So there's lots of news to come.
Well, that's part of what I was going to ask you about, is because one of the things that Rick Rule has talked to us about forever is the idea of being a contrarian, which he has often meant finding value by asking questions before they become the answers become evident to the broader public. So getting yourself positioned ahead of time. And frankly, the background of our channel is in preparedness. And in preparedness, you always want to get yourself positioned before whatever it is happens, so that, because if you wait until it becomes obvious to large numbers of people, you can lose a lot of the advantage of being an early mover. So anyway, glad to meet G2 Goldfields through Rick's introduction here, and glad to have you visiting us for this first time on Liberty and Finance. If people want to find out more about your company, they should go to g2goldfield.com.
That's correct.
And so folks, look in the description of this video. You'll find a link to g2goldfields.com's corporate website. You'll be able to find out more about their activities and what makes them a good bet, according to Rick Rule, our friend. And just thank you for joining us on Liberty and Finance.
Thank you very much.
Miles Franklin Precious Metals is one of America's oldest and most trusted bullion dealers. Miles Franklin is A+ rated and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, licensed and bonded, and has 0 complaints ever registered. Here at Liberty and Finance, we are licensed brokers with Miles Franklin. To order, simply call us, discuss your needs, and we can let you know our live inventory, prices, and availability, and lock in your order over the phone. Once your order is locked, the price is held for you regardless of market fluctuations, and the metals are reserved for you awaiting your settled payment. Within 1 business day of ordering, you will receive an email invoice detailing the order and payment instructions. Miles Franklin accepts payments by bank wire, ACH or electronic check, money order, check mailed priority mail, and cryptocurrency. The fastest forms of payment are bank wire and cryptocurrency. Upon settled payment, metals will ship out within 3 to 5 business days. You will receive tracking information via email. Domestic shipping charges are $15 for any order under 500 ounces of silver or 10 ounces of gold. For orders larger than that, domestic shipping is free. The package will be boxed, fully insured, and labeled discreetly, with no indication of the contents inside. For your privacy, the name Miles Franklin will not even be on the package. To talk to myself, Kaiser, my brother Elijah, or my father Dunnigan, call 1-888-81-LIBERTY. That's 1-888-815-4237.